We are a closely held group. Uh, we run our automobile business under the brand name of Gallops. Largely, we are known as the Pugalia Group. It's a small family-run business house. Me and my dad. I'll just introduce my dad first, who is the first generation businessman, and he's the pioneer behind the success of all our business ventures. He's 65 years of age. He has done justice into science. For last 49 years, over 49 years now, he has been into business. He's tried his hands in jute, textile, trading, FMCG, construction, real estate, automobile, and now also into packaging. He's the member of most of the social clubs in and around Ahmedabad, also members of various business societies like NCI, CREDAI, GITO. He maintains a good reputation between the top politicians, businessmen, industrialists, and professionals, and this is all because of his previous career path. He also is involved into charitable trust. One is our family-owned charitable trust, which is BDR, the Pugalia Charitable Trust, and the other one is Gallops Education Trust, which we recently inaugurated in 2013. He's also trustee for Anuvat Trust, which is in Mumbai, and Preksha Vishwa Bharati, which is in Gandhinagar, Koba. Amongst a few CSR activities, one of the large projects which he has recently taken up is to create a management institute in rural Rajasthan, which is our native near Bikaner. The land has been procured. How it goes further will time will tell. This is about me. I'm Tanuj Pugalia. I'm 42 years of age. I have done my graduation in commerce from Bombay. I have been working for last 24 years. I started my career with FMCG business. I moved to Ahmedabad in 98. I did my schooling, college, everything in Bombay. I moved to Ahmedabad in 1998. Started with FMCG business and then diversified into a little bit of real estate, automobile, finance. We have started packaging business as well, and most of the businesses are still up and running. Amongst again, being a social member of all the social clubs in and around Ahmedabad, being associated with business fraternity like ACCI, ICO, and have managed to get a strong personal and business reputation within the last years of working in Ahmedabad. My key strength lies into business development, expansion, and management, and rapid project implementation. So, as I said, I moved in Ahmedabad in 98. We started with a small FMCG company, which was behind my name, Tanuj Agency Private Limited. Continued with this business till 2012. We have stopped the FMCG business in 2012. We ventured into real estate in 2003, 2004. We got into automobile business. Post that, we have been opening one or two outlets every year for various brands. Primarily, up till 2012, it was Chevrolet. We had 14 outlets for Chevrolet around Gujarat. Chevrolet closed down its operation in India and they went back to the US, so we had to shut down all the stores. 2011, we started our packaging business under the brand name of JV Converge. In 2013, we took up the Bajaj dealership. 15 was Mahindra, then KTM, then Hyundai, and then Hyundai. We opened up two Hyundai outlets in Bombay, which is two dealerships, full-fledged dealerships, then two in Ahmedabad. We took the Tata commercial dealership, the BMW dealership, Mini, and the Motorrad. So this has been kind of a revamp after Chevrolet, where we started from 2011 and created all these dealerships one after the other. A small snapshot of the latest venture what we have done, the BMW dealership, which is of most of interest of you guys. So we started this operations of our BMW operations with our BMW operations in Ahmedabad in May 2018. With a spalling facility of 1 lakh square feet.
After this, we have planned another opening of a dealership in Rajkot, which will be doing it shortly. It's almost on the verge of completion. And we shall be inaugurating soon as we get an opportunity post this lockdown. We have also started the mini operations in June 2019 in the same facility as in Ahmedabad. These are a few snapshots of our Chevrolet facilities which were around Gujarat. During the Chevrolet times, we have been among the top dealers in India for straight 9 years in a row. We've got many awards. We have got many applauds from the company. These are a few snapshots of our Hyundai dealership. Again, this is a state-of-art facility. One is in Vastral. One is in the one picture. What you see on the left is of Vastral. There is one more dealership in Ahmedabad, which is at Vastrapur next to IIM. And then this is of Borivali in Bombay. We have one more facility in Mahalakshmi in Bombay. These are pictures of Mahindra dealerships, which is in Rajkot. Again, this is a state-of-art facility. It's around 45,000 square feet. And these are a few outlets of our two-wheeler dealerships, which is Bajaj, KTM. We have around 12 of them, 8 for Bajaj, 4 for KTM. We have one for Motorrad as well now. This is the Tata dealership, one of the best dealerships of Tata Motors in India. This has been praised a lot by the company, and also we have won award for having the best facility and the best service center for trucks in the country. This is a snapshot of our non-automotive venture, which is the packaging industry, which is in Changodar. We are by and large we have 2 units now. We are by and large one of the largest manufacturing units in Western India for flexible packaging. This is the last completed project of our construction, front-end construction, which was 88 apartments. Apart from this, we are working on an industrial park project in Sanand. We are working on a commercial complex at Changodar. We have just finished one small commercial complex at Naroda. And we are also working on a logistic park in Bavla. So Bavla and Sanand both are under pipeline in this coming year. It all depends on how the post-lockdown period is. About the automobile family tree, this is all the brands what we are running, and every brand is run under separate entity because that's a mandate also from the companies what we deal with. So these are the businesses as other than automobile, which is run under the various companies as mentioned here. Not much of interest, I guess. So talking about the key strengths of our group, our customer relationship is the key to our success. We have believed in giving the best of the customer experiences to the people via best of the superior infrastructure facilities and state-of-art facilities. The people definitely help you to grow your business equally. So having the best of the premises and a friendly atmosphere for your manpower is also a key to success. Our attrition has been the lowest in this industry, whereby automobile industry has a very high attrition rate. We have managed to keep the best talent in place for long now. Our business ethics are also praised by a lot of people, and we have been trying to do it as transparently as we can to develop the brand, and this is our best practice. We have been among the top dealers of performance and volume in whichever brand we have represented it so far. We enjoy excellent relationship in social, economic, political, and government circles because of our business, and that also helps us in growing the business. So this is all on the group presentation side. I will just come back. I believe we will conclude the presentation with this, and I would like you to take the session forward. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was yes, that was fantastic, Mr. Tanuj. And it's good to know about how your profile, how the company has been growth and your growth. So now this is the time for questions. Like first we will take you some questions, then we will go for the audience question answer. So here the first thing first, in this time of pandemic and lockdown, we all would like to know what is your take on preparing oneself after the lockdown in respect of business, as most of us are from SMEs and want to know on take on this. So like how you will prepare yourself because of this lockdown, after the lockdown, what you do for that?
So being an automobile guy, I would like to take this question and answer it in a automobile way. So for me, this is like reigniting the engine of a car, which has been lying down under the sheets in your garage for years now, because although the lockdown has not been so long, but we all feel like that. So what all you need to, reignite your car? All you need is fuel, you need the driver, you need the licenses in place, you need the roads to drive on, you need your destination where you need to go, you need a stepney, spare wheel, you need a passenger. So all this I relate to the current situation of business. When I say fuel, I indicate to you is liquidity, which we need to run the show. We need driver, which is the manpower back in place. as soon as we can. We need the licenses, we need permissions, we need to follow the rules, regulations, and the policies which the government has laid down to run the businesses now back on track. We need the road. When I say road, I mean the short-term vision on which we need to think the way out to sustain the business, to run the business and make it effective again. When I say destination, I mean the long-term visions which we have, because when we start the business, there will be a different vision right now to sustain and to kickstart. And then we have to have a long-term vision, which will enable us to get past through these tough times. We need a spare wheel. When we drive a car, we need a spare wheel. So similarly, we need reserve liquidity as well, because we don't know how well we are going to get back to track, how much sustainable situations are going to be, how much refueling we might need in future. So we need to have our reserves in place. And finally, passengers. When I say passenger, it relates to customers. We need customers in place. We need to reignite our customers and get back on track. We need to ensure that they start working as well along with us. Only we trying to reignite our business is not going to help. So our customers have to come back in place and support the business model what we are running. It's going to be a big achievement for India, let me tell you, if we get on track back in 2-3 months, which is not a big task at all. With the strength and the might of India, we are quite capable of doing this. We have been successfully kept this pandemic under control. A lot of people might not agree with me, but I strongly feel that we have done the best what we could have. So I feel that India has done a phenomenal job, and we collectively put together with government support, I feel this is the right forum of people who are responsible to bringing India back on track now in terms of economy. The workforce, labor, daily wages, loaders, basically the manpower, which is migrating manpower, will be the challenge which we need to figure out a way to get them back on the workplaces as soon as we can. And as I said, cash is going to be the king, so ultimate reserves and surpluses are going to be strong. We have to defer all our, new pipelines, expansion plans, or even if there is something which is planned, which was planned before lockdown to be done immediately post lockdown, we should try and defer that and sit on the cash, sit tight, set long-term goals, keep your short-term plans aligned with the resources what you have in your system. So these are the things what we are working on. Also the government policies which are going to come now are going to be very attractive, and we have to read closely between the lines, understand the applicability of the government policies in our business and use them effectively to revive the business. So this is what I feel I would be doing post lockdown, and we are preparing for the same right now, sitting back.
So sir, I can conclude as cash is king from the answer which you told. Right. So on behalf of Artemisia, before going to the second question, on behalf of Artemisia, I would like to welcome Mr. Chiranjeev Patel. Right. Sir, we are in the group of panelists, and kindly accept a warm greeting on behalf of Artemisia. So, sir, the next question is, in one of your interviews, you have said nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. We already see that you have a diverse business portfolio. So how do you identify such opportunities and work on it? If you can throw some light from an experience, Tanuj sir.
So yes, I said that, I remember very well. What I meant by that is that you have to keep your eyes open and start looking for opportunities wherever and whenever it is possible for you to expand into it, diversify into it. You should grab that opportunity and get into that expansion mode. But the first most important thing is that you have to be you cannot compromise on your core business. You have to be focused on your core business and then look at opportunities. So I feel amidst your routine business, your business associate, your social circles, your social gatherings, every place what you attend, you be in, you find opportunities. It's only how you work upon it, how much you are interested into it, how you can gather your resources and bring up that opportunity to flourish is most important. Talking about this COVID-19, there have been companies, there are people who have seen a lot of opportunities within this COVID-19 situation as well. Talk about the pharma companies, the traders, the stock market, the traders, the food industry, the healthcare equipment industry. A lot of people not from this industry have started. I know a lot of people who have started doing healthcare equipment business. So there are opportunities all around us. It's only the matter of how we look into it and what our interest pulls into it. So I also always say that, problem leads to involvement and involvement leads to opportunities. So more you get involved, more opportunities you see in and around you. So that's my take.
That's great. So like we see that you work with many global brands, Hyundai, BMW, even Mini. In fact, some of them are very iconic brands. But in between all this, how you tackle with developing Gallops as brand itself? If I want to buy, why I will choose Gallops and not any other? What kind of efforts you already shown something in your presentation, but we want to look into more details. What focus you make to Gallops as a brand, not BMW or Mini or Hyundai?
So see, the OEM, the brand, whether it's Hyundai, BMW, Bajaj, or whoever, will always prevail the dealership brand. I cannot grow beyond the brand. Staying within the guidelines, staying within the shadow of the brand, how is the best we can perform to attract more and more customer is the goal. Working with Indian and global brand has given us, a lot of values. They have exposed us to a lot of cultural values, standards, processes, customer centricity approaches, trainings, technology. They bring those technologies closer to us, which we are not in a position to achieve. It help us in grooming our vision. They have helped us in practicing all the best practices around the world are shared to us. So all these things, when we get to know, we try to inculcate that into our company, and that definitely helps the brand Gallops to grow. Awareness, ease of dealing, approachability, customer first attitude. These are the basic genetics of the company, which has kept us alive and kept us going. We have over, customer base of 1 lakh customer now, and we are in touch with most of them. So that is what builds the brand Gallops. And fair business. You don't need to.
Okay. So looking at current scenario of auto industries, there are a number of issues it's facing, right? Some issues are economic issues because of COVID-19, electric car development, decrease of sales in urban areas, increase in rentals of cars and taxi market, the use of virtual platforms for marketing and booking. How the industry is coping with it, and how you see the future of auto industry from today.
Okay. So first of all, I strongly believe that COVID-19 is temporary. It's not going to be here permanently. We are amidst a small trouble, which we all put together will definitely put it out of business. So I'm not so worried about the COVID-19 situation, which is temporary for sure. On the electric car, electric vehicle will change the way we do business. That it will change the way people travel. It will not put the business out of place. So electric car doesn't seem to be a threat to us. It's rather an opportunity which we will try to encash as much as we can. The business is still going to stay. You said also about the rural market,
urban areas.
Yeah, so the urban market is not shrinking. The rural market is growing for sure. Urban market is saturized to a certain level, but it is not shrinking at all. It's too short a period right now. I have the data with me, but we can show it to you whenever you want, or if anybody is interested. That urban market has increased over the years, yes, but the rural market is more rapidly increasing. So that brings us added advantage. It doesn't bring any erosion of business opportunity for us. About the Ola, Uber, taxi businesses, what you're talking about, again, they buy cars, and they buy cars from us. And those are the cars on which these businesses thrive. So we are still going to supply those cars to them. We are still going to service. The cars which they buy and the cars which we drive are different. So there is going to be a social requirement of car which will prevail over the, at least I see for my lifespan, I don't see that threat of us going out of business at all. Virtual ways of marketing has seen a huge surge. Sales have just started happening. I would say this is just the beginning of it. Virtual market is definitely the next big thing. We all will change our ways of doing business. As I said, we will still evolve ourselves to a next levels. But in this business, brick and mortar is always going to stay. The personal touch, the approach, and the understanding of product given by a human to human is always going to prevail over this business. A lot of government responsibilities are put upon the dealerships. We are basically one of the largest tax collectors for this government. Maybe it is a RTO, maybe it is TDS, maybe it is TCS. So all these tax collection happens at our place. So the human touch has to be there, and transparency of dealing has to be there. So this business is definitely, this again is not a big threat. Yes, the way of doing business will change. Just to give you a small idea about the automobile business, the strength of automobile business, it contributes to 7.5% of the GDP of India. It contributes to 49% of manufacturing GDP of India. If you look at data of markets like US, there are around over 800 and some 830 cars per 1,000 customers, per 1,000 people. When you look at Spain, it is over 500 cars per 1,000 people. If you look at China, it is around little less than 200 cars per 1,000. When you look at India, it is nearly 22 cars. So you can see the opportunity which it brings to our country. So all these factors are definitely going to boost the business, not at all damage the business. Yes, the economy is something which we are all reliant upon, and that plays its own game. So economy has to be back on track, and business is thriving for sure.
That's a very detailed answer, sir. So moving forward, the next, like before COVID-19 pandemic, the whole world was facing and ignoring the problem of global warming. But because of lockdown situation, the earth has started healing itself very fast. And some fantastic scenarios, like we are seeing dolphins on the shores of urban beaches. Just yesterday, there were thousands of flamingos on the Navi Mumbai lake, which was rarest to have. So what do you think to have this phenomena to continue even after lockdown? And what you suggest for prevention of global warming as well as cohesive living with nature?
So to be honest, I'm not an expert on this environmental thing, but my take on this is this pandemic has taught me a lot of things. It has taught me to minimize. It has taught me to use things rationally. It has taught me to respect things what we have. So I believe if we continue, and this thought has been, if this thought is inculcated within us deeply, and if this can stay in our minds for longer, because we as humans have the tendency of forgetting things very quickly. But if we can, pledge to keep this thought longer in mind, I think we will definitely serve the society in a better way. Education, green revolution, the eco-friendly ways of handling waste, all these things governments are trying to do, and they will also definitely evolve the ways they take care of this global warming issue. Again, talking about the automobile industry, they have definitely contributed in a large way. Once, as I said, they contribute to the largest part of the manufacturing GDP. They also have the largest of responsibility. They are playing the responsibility well in place by introducing BS6. Post March, all the BS6 units will be available only to sell, which is much more environment friendly than what previous cars were. The shift to EV is again a big move. It has taken a lot of investment from all the automobile companies. The big move has come in, and the government support is, every government machinery is talking about EV today, electric vehicles today, because it is less pollutant and the carbon emission is very low. It's almost not there. It's negligible. So as auto industry is also playing its role towards supporting this global warming issue.
So, sir, the last question, moving forward to the last question from the question and answers round. As we have seen in a presentation that you have worked closely in the real estate industry, and Gallup's Group is a group having its presence in the real estate market. Artemisia Construction Power Team would like to know about your take on real estate market as far as the industrial segment is concerned, as lots of Japanese and Korean companies are planning to move out of China to other countries. How big is this opportunity for us, especially for Gujarat, as we have a dedicated industrial zones for Japanese companies? Your take on it, sir.
So first, on the real estate part, our experience in the mainstream real estate business is very limited. What we have been doing is a project a year kind of a story. So I'm not a big, I can't have a big opinion about this. But personally speaking, I'm very bullish about this business. I feel real estate is a long-term business as our automobile business. It's a 10-year business cycle, and it is going to be one of the best businesses to be in. So real estate is all about sustenance. It's all about capital deployment and right opportunity. So this is all I would say about real estate. Talking about a lot of companies coming from Korea and Japan and other countries to India, 100%. This is going to happen. we all have lost our trust in China. We all would like to bring up our own consumption capability of the country and manufacturing capability of the country to suit our consumption. Most of the countries will have to look to India because of the kind of manpower availability we have. The only hindrance, what I feel, is the norms, the labor laws, the pollution norms, the ease of doing business, which I'm definitely sure that this progressive government is going to work upon it, and they will not miss this opportunity. So they will look at every possible ways to turn this into our favor and make India better than ever before. So I'm very, very optimistic about this fact that we are all, and we were talking about opportunities. So this is an opportunity which is going to come to India. All we need to is look for what we can do, where we can do, how we can do. So big opportunity.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the valuable words. Himanshu bhai, as we have enough time, can we take some questions, live questions from the audience?
Yes, we will do some live questions from audience. There are many are there on so let's take it few of them. Sir, what do you think? Dhruv Pandit is asking, it's a good time to invest in machineries as your automobile is largely related to machineries. What do you think about it?
My first take is don't do anything new unless you have your customers in place. As I said, we need to sit tight on cash. First, bring our core businesses back on track. First, fuel that business for a while now. This business has been giving us money. It has been paying our bills. Now it needs us to pay its bill. So we need to fuel our businesses first, sit tight on the cash reserve, and look at every opportunity. I don't know what machinery is talking about, but every opportunity, there are a lot of opportunities that are going to come. We don't need to get lured by everything. We have to put our head into it, put our maths behind it, see the end results, make a business case, and then go ahead. This is at least how we do it.
Like there are 2-3 questions about electric vehicle. Like one is by Malay Raval, another is also there. And if you combine that questions, like what do you see the future of electric vehicles? Like Tata has started, and a passenger vehicle has started with Nexon electric vehicles. Honda has also come up with electric vehicles. And do you think it will get delayed because of this pandemic, or it will get faster enough because of this pandemic? And what people will suggest after maybe a couple of years, maybe infrastructure issues with. So what you see the future specifically because of electric vehicles?
So the future is very, very clear and decisive right now. Me being associated with all the automobile industries, there are two sets of brands. One who are working very aggressively on the EV, and one who have kept the EV plans on hold because of the pandemic. As I am talking to you guys and I'm advising you to sit tight on cash, hold your reserves in place, even the companies are going to do that. Even they are under a situation where automobile industry for a while is going to take a hit. India as a country, because of the opportunity available, because we just have 22 cars over 1,000 people, there is a huge surge which is going to come into the automobile industry. You will see a lot of people buying cars because now you need your personal space. You would not like to use the public transport as frequently as you were using in the earlier days. Value of money has gone down over health in this situation of COVID. So we will end up spending money on ourselves. We'll spend up money on our houses. We'll spend money gradually, not right now, but gradually we'll spend money rather than holding it back. So we will see a surge in countries like India who have lesser penetration of cars. But EV plans in a country like India will take some time. So it's a 5-year story from now when you can expect 20 to 30% of penetration of electric vehicles. As of now, electric vehicles are for people who really care about the environment, and it's just a feeler being given to the audience.
Okay. So next is from Akash Tyagi. He's looking like he's an entrepreneur and representing marketing part. So he wants to know about the marketing budget cut we can see ahead in the automobile, particularly in automobile sector. How much marketing budget cutting you can look forward?
See, everybody is talking about cost cutting. So cost cutting there is a cost addition which will come in place also. There is a cost cutting which has to happen. The cost cutting and removing the excess flab on the organization is very important. But at the same time, you need to spend wisely also on things like technology, things like marketing. The marketing spend will definitely go down because that's one of the major expenses of all the businesses, I believe, all the consumer-based businesses. So we have to invest rightly into technology and digital space more than ATLs, I would say. So the ATLs will go down. The BTLs has to stop because one-on-one person connectivity now will not will be that feasible or a good idea. So you have to cut down on your BTL events. What you do, you will have to cut down a little bit on your ATL because of the budgets, and digital has to be promoted very heavily. So we have moved to completely trying to digitalize ourselves in terms of marketing. For last 6-8 months, we have been doing that. Our number of paper ads, our hoarding has gone down. We don't put up any hoarding. Our paper ads have gone down, but our digital presence has become very strong. And trust me, the number of inquiries we have been generating, even in the lockdown period, is amazing. When you see the reach of digital, it is unmatched.
Yes.
And it's cheaper, much cheaper.
Okay. That's always we find a new way to grow ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the human nature. So next is from Deepthi Meena. Like she has some little different question. I will rephrase that. Like different large scale industries, MSME and small scale industries all have a different cash flow and liquidity. So what do you think of how will it affect all different sector? How this pandemic will affect the large scale and the small scale industries? What different it will make in the liquidity part and cash flows for the large scale and small scale industries?
So you rightly framed that there are different set of companies who are sitting on large reserves. They will definitely look for a lot of opportunities. You have already heard of a lot of people trying to take over new businesses, take over existing businesses, starting new ventures in this. A lot of new companies I know personally have jumped into the pharma sector, into the medical equipment sector, health sectors, the insurance sector. So these are the people who have good enough cash flows and they have maintained good reserves, whereby they don't predict a heavy outflow of revenues in the coming months, even after this COVID situation. So they will have to plan their way out differently. For people who are on a tight liquidity, who run a tight rope in terms of liquidity, will have to plan their liquidity flow properly. They have to make sure that their reserves are there for at least going down till December. This pandemic will slow down. It will not end so soon. So we should be prepared. The opportunities are always going to be there. Once we are out of this, and I'm not talking long term, I think 5-6 months is a fair ask when I say that you need to sit tight on your cash. So it all depends on how much cash flows you have and how much is your outflow. We all as businessmen have that calculations offhand, and we should keep that offhand so that we know that this is the kind of money I might need for next 6 months.
Another question is from Nehal Sa. I can again rephrase. We already know it is going to downfall for the next few months. Even the auto industry, even the real estate, we all know that. But how much it can downfall, or there will be less buyers in the market, but we also see there will be a less supply also. So how strategy will be affect for the next 6 months? As we can see, next 6 months is the lockdown. We can be free from this effect of this lockdown and pandemic.
So all I've learned across my working number of years is that supply is purely dominated by demand. As the demand keeps growing, the supply, we are going to match up to the supply. India is very dynamic in that way. We as businessmen, enterprises, we are the youngest country, and we can't forget that fact that we are very dynamic. We are looking for opportunities. We are full of enthusiasm. We will make sure that the country bounces back. We have by and large tried to curb the pandemic to a good level, I would say. If we follow the processes and the rules, we will be out of this problem very soon. With the kind of consumption base we have within the country, it is huge. The kind of opportunity, the reliance on imports are very high. So all these to me are opportunities. We need to cut down our imports. We need to focus on exports. The entire Europe has gone for a toss. The entire US is under a stress. We talk about Australia, Singapore, everybody other than China who supplies to us, their dependency is majorly on China, and this is the right time to move that dependency to other countries. If we bounce back on our feet, we as entrepreneurs take that challenge up, and we try to give this gap, try to fill this gap of demand globally, we will definitely grow faster than any other country, because we have the manpower in place, we have the right age and right segment of people, we have the money, we have the right government in place. So things will definitely improve. So, and talking about how long this situation will prevail, I really cannot predict now, because when the first lockdown was announced, we all were under the impression that this is going to end in the next 21 days. It has been extended. I don't know what is the situation going to be on the 3rd of May. Cities like Ahmedabad, I have operations in Ahmedabad, Rajkot. Rajkot might open up fully, but Ahmedabad, there are hotspots areas which people might not be able to come back to work, and we also don't want them to come to work. I want their safety first. So yes, we will have to gradually open up. Especially for our industry, it's a little bit longer time, because once everything else opens up, then the automobile industry will open.
So the next questions is, I will combine the two questions again. This one is from Siddharth and one is from Sandeep. It's about particularly talking about your BMW business. So one is from customer perspective and another is from marketing perspective. So will you go more towards the showroom? People will avoid test drive in this pandemic. So how much will you invest in virtual marketing? How much you will do more for satisfying your customer? How much more will you do bring the customers for, particularly for luxury segments like BMW and Mini?
So just to tell you, we have already evolved and we have already launched the contactless sales program, whereby without going to the showroom, without even talking to one of the any of our consultants, without doing any physical contact with anyone, we are in a position to deliver a car right now to your place with all the paperwork and everything.
That's great.
But this is not only about how we are prepared, how much are we prepared. As customers will get prepared, customers will take time to get prepared. We have the responsibility of ensuring that the customers take this contactless program very seriously. They look at the digital platforms very seriously. We will try and educate them. We will try to bring them to that levels of accepting this kind of business, because car business traditionally have been all about touch and feel. Unless you don't visit a showroom, unless you don't speak to the consultant, unless you don't bargain, you don't feel satisfied about the purchase. So it's a prized possession. People like to get in touch with, to me also, to the owners of the business as well. And that will take a little bit of attitude change is required, and that will take a little bit of time. So we are geared up to do that. If the question is, are we prepared? Yes, we are prepared. Is the customer prepared? Time will tell.
Another is like anonymous person is asking, do you work with startups and like giant business groups work with startups to increase their sales or something, or increase the service instance products? So how you support the startups, or your own self start new ventures in a digital platforms?
How do we support a startup? Till now, we haven't worked with any of the startups, to be honest. Yes, in terms of providing guidance, in terms of providing financial assistance, in terms of providing a good working atmosphere, we have done a few of projects which has not shown very great results as of now, but we are very keen on working with startups. So if there is any good idea, he's more than welcome to approach us, and we will definitely support to the best of our capabilities.
Another question is like from Jayesh Prajapati. Sir, as we all know, there are industries such as pharma, food industry, and many others, which will having a great opportunity after this lockdown, because of there are from essentials and health industries, we can say that. But what you look for as you work with construction industry, what you see the future of construction business after this lockdown? And he also belongs to this construction business, and how much opportunity will raise in the construction business. And I will add myself, what you see the changes can happen in the future of construction business. As we are a very powerful construction team, we also would like to know the changes you can look for construction business.
So again, I am a fly-by-time real estate guy. So I have just done few projects, and I will, for now, put my real estate projects in the back seat. I'll focus on my core business. I'll revive that to the fullest, and then start reworking on the construction business or the real estate business, because that there we don't have much exposure. We are not leveraged very heavily. But I have very good friends in my contact who are big time into construction, and I see the struggle for them is government regulations. Like I give you a small example, RERA, there are closure dates for the project, but there has been no noise on that area from the government. The government has not taken up that seriously. The work has been stopped, but there is no announcement of new dates or how the dates will be extended. most of the workers in that segment are migrants. They have all gone back to their villages, and it will be very difficult to get those people back so soon. So yes, big challenges for the short term. But as I said, long term, I'm very bullish about this business. I feel real estate is going to boom again. And as economy booms, India is already under 3 trillion. It is, as our Mr. Prime Minister has quoted, that we are looking forward to a 5 trillion economy. For him also, it's going to be a tough job now. But yes, it is unstoppable. Now this, he's been known to get opportunity out of all the troubles which comes his way. So I am sure that this trouble which has come across the globe will turn into an opportunity for India, and we will sooner than ever before reach 5 trillion economy, which will again boost the real estate business and automobile business as well.
Now we can almost on the business parts we have already done. Only last, what we can do. There is one car spa owner over here, Hers. He wants to know how they can connect with you and have a tie-up with you for a long term. What channel they can look for?
So unfortunately, brother, we are in the same business. We have our in-house car spa, but definitely you can always feel free to call me. My number is there on the presentation, and I can repeat if you want. I'll put it in the chat box. You can always connect with me. Come over for a cup of coffee. We'll discuss the business avenues which we can have for each other. Just one small tip on the car spa thing is today's the most demand. The one of the most important services in demand is disinfectant treatments. So you should focus on that very aggressively. Try to explore that opportunity as much as you can. This will pay a good, you'll get a good payback for that. So that's one area what you should focus on.
Okay. So now there's enough of business questions. Now there are some personal questions many would like to ask. So one is that what is the most important quality in you which attribute to your success? Mr. Mukesh Kumar is asking for that.
So I think I'm a people's man. I can manage I can manage a large number of people together in a good way. I can make sure that I would take good care of them. I have a staff of 1,200 people in automobile, and we have around 600 people working for other businesses. So a staff of 1,800 plus, and we have the core team, which I call the core Gallups team, is over. None of them is less than 5 years, and we have people working for us for last 22 years. It is as long as my career. So business, that is the key. I believe that you need to take care of your people. You need to respect them. You need to respect their ideas. You need to listen, and you need to work accordingly. You have to have the buy-in of your entire team when you take decisions. Your decision alone will never give you success. So people is the most important attribute I have.
People, yeah. Okay. So next again is kind of a personal question. Most people are looking for success, how the people has got successful. But here I would like to know, what is your biggest failure in your business? How you overcome from that and what you learn from that?
So I have multiple failures. There's not one, I have multiple failures. First biggest failure was believing that this is the best thing I could have ever done in my life. So that stops you from growing. For the first 10 years of my life, when I was into the FMCG business, I always thought that this is the best business to be in, and I cannot do anything better than this. I was so reliable on that business that virtually close my eyes to every opportunity which comes my way. Second is believing or blaming for your own problems to the government and to your staff or to your luck. I believe that most of the failures are because of our lack of vision, our lack of planning, and our lack of trust what we put into the business. And this I've faced multiple times. In all the business, I still face it today, but I face it. So you will never come out of problems. You will never come out of failures, but face it. If you face it, you will definitely survive.
Another person is asking, what do you think will companies investing in training and learning for their employees to adapt the new business dynamics? That the business dynamics surely going to change after this. So how much will be investing in trainings and learnings of employees? And how important is for employees to develop new skill and sets to fit in a new environment?
It's a fantastic question. Need of the hour. What we have been doing for last 20 days, 30 days has been training our people. all the people have been put into some or the other courses. I have invested a lot of money in training my people because I know that this is a situation where we need to digitalize ourselves. We need to train. We need better people. We need better qualities to overcome sales and make better business sense. So training is going to play a big role in tomorrow's success for all the companies who are planning for their future operations in a better and effective way. So training has to be focused upon. As I said, there are good spends and bad spends. Training, I will put it in the good spend bucket. We focus a lot on training, and that's, I think, very important. And as a business also, whoever is doing whoever is in this business, a whole lot of opportunities coming.
In this talk of last 50 minutes, you have talked about the cash flow management many times. Yeah. And one of the person, Vatsal Sai, is asking how you manage the cash flow. What is, just you said the good spend and the bad spend. So what is cash flow managed for the good spend and the cash flow management the bad spend?
So there are three types of cash flows which I look into. One is the physical hard cash available with me in today, in my hand, and plan it and the plans for spending the same, which is very important. So I have to know that next 2 months, 3 months, we have to look at the cash flows closer than ever before. आज के पहले चलता था कि अगर हमने देखा कितना खर्चा हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है, बिजनेस चल रहा है, at the end of the day कमा लिया, ठीक है. This year, trust me, we will have to be closer to the books of accounts than ever before. We have to know कि हमारे अगले 3 महीने का, 6 महीने का, 1 साल का क्या खर्चा है, कितना पैसा हमारे पास है, कितना आ सकता है, कितना नहीं आ सकता है, अगर शॉर्टफॉल है तो कितना है, how we can plow back that money, can we take loans, can we take advances from people, do we have reserves and surplus in place or not. So all these things, study will definitely be very important. Otherwise you might see a sudden break into the system, a sudden lethargy in the system, which will keep you away from doing future business. So that is why I see कि 3 stage में मैं देखता हूँ. First is what is the available cash today, and what is the available spent, minimum available spend, and then break the spend into multiple layers and see what is important, what is good spend, what is bad spend. Eliminate the bad spend, try to reserve that cash for future, and also try to bring in the resources for future. अगर मेरे पास पैसे कम है तो मुझे उसके resources को ढूंढना पड़ेगा आज ही से, because going down the line money will be the king and it will be a scarce commodity for sure.
Haren Choksi is asking, HR industry is predicting that the automobile sector will have aggressive hiring after this lockdown. Is it true?
No, I think otherwise. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think otherwise. Okay. I think it will not have extraordinary hiring. It might face layoff. I strongly request all people in the automobile industry not to lay off people. It is not going to help in any which ways. Even I am under tremendous stress of laying off people. I will not do it unless I need that for my survival. If I need that for my survival, I will not have an alternate. But I feel that hiring new people for the time being is going to be off the shelf.
Okay. Finally, same Ratandeep and Akash asking the same kind of questions. Would like to know about your daily routines, daily schedule, what you do right now, and how you make your day.
Okay. So thank you, gentlemen, for asking this question, because my younger daughter specifically specified that I have to bring her name out in this conversation, else I'm not getting food today. So I have 2 daughters. The elder one is Jenna, and the younger one, elder one is Viha, and the younger one is Jenna. And Jenna, if you're listening, I've brought up your name, so thank you. And starts from kids and ends with kids. I've tried to keep myself busy, attending a lot of webinars, learning a lot of things, listening to people, preaching my people, teaching my people, talking to my people, staying connected with my team, staying connected with family. I've been having wonderful time. I've never, had a summer vacation since after school. So this is the first summer vacation which we have got. At the same time, the stress is mounting now because the time is passing by and the bills are raising. The markets are becoming too demanding and the situation is going to be tighter day by day. So as I said, there is a mixed feeling going on in my head, as I think everybody else. About how I spend my day is that I have focused a lot on my physical fitness. I have focused a lot on fitness. I would say I've looked at all my accounts. I have managed to close all the books of accounts. We run 17 companies to be precise. All the 17 companies' balance sheets are almost finalized, and we will be finishing it off in next 1 week or so. We have kind of reconciled all our accounts. We have tried to keep our back office alive. We've been talking about policies. We are framing new policies, new report structures. So on the work side, we are focusing on whatever we can. On the personal side, I've been spending a lot of time with my parents. I've been playing games which I've never done. I've been playing games with my father, my mother, my wife, my children. We all sit together and play games. I've been cooking. I have cooked a lot of dishes for them. Trying to explore new talents. Talking to friends. I've been connected with my friends higher than ever before. So Chiranjeev is here, as you said. He's one of my best friends. We used to talk twice a day. Now we talk at least 5 times a day. So things have been much better in the personal zone as well. I'm trying to be calm, composed.
Yes, so that's it for today. And we have already completed 1 hour out of time also. Anything you want to say last, Mr. Tanuj? Because this is like an ending.
I would just like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to sharing this space with you and trying to share my views with you. I don't know whether I make sense. I can change a few people's lives, or I can add some value to your thought processes, your businesses. Feel free to connect with me at any point of time if you have anything to share or understand or acknowledge. I'll be more than happy.
Yes. So that was it for today. It was wonderful meeting in this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Tanuj, for having with us today and giving guidance, motivation, and inspiration in this crucial time. It is truly said, every new event, every new problems brings a massive opportunity. Who had thought of having a lockdown just before 40 days? Who had thought so many creative activities happening online in this lockdown? Who had thought of connecting to distance people in such a positive way? Who had ever thought of new perspective emerging even in this critical time? But that's the nature of human being. No matter what, it comes out better at the end. And I am sure we will see far better world after this pandemic. And as we got to learn many things.